Hey guys, it's Dhar.
And I'm Laura.
And we're back again with another video. If you're new to our channel, then please hit that subscribe button.
And turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a video of ours. So today we are going to be discussing our labor and delivery. If you guys watched our last video, you guys know that it was a tough one. It was a very long labor, and then it was also a very scary labor. We didn't show you guys any of that. We didn't even get it on camera, but yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. It's really tough for us to discuss it, and it was even more scary just as it was happening. So yeah, Ella Rose is now here. Oh my gosh, she is almost a month, and she is just like the cutest thing ever, you guys. Like, I don't even know like how life existed before her. We were talking about that today. I was like, what was life like before Ella?
Well, it definitely didn't take 3 hours to leave the house, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're still trying to get adjusted, and we haven't been sleeping well, but it's just all so worth it. Like, I'm so obsessed at being a mom. I feel like I was put on this earth to be a mom. Like, you guys don't even understand the feeling I get, like, looking at her and just like, I'm a baby hog, like Dhar.
I used to love the way she looked at me, and I felt pretty special, you know. Now I'm like, wow, there's a whole nother level to Laura's love I didn't know about.
Yeah, but I still love you. Okay, so we'll start from the top.
So, all right, let me just start off by saying when Laura and I announced, when we posted on Instagram saying that Ella Rose was here, we said that it was, how did you word it again? You said it was like the best day, the scariest day, and then
just so many emotions. Like that, it honestly was just one of the toughest days of our lives.
Yeah, it's something that honestly, like, we wanted to talk to you guys about sooner. We've been trying to do this vlog now for a couple of weeks, but I just think we weren't like emotionally ready to actually talk about the what really happened inside of the labor room. The video that, if you guys did watch our labor video, I ended up cutting out some of the parts that were a little bit traumatic and a little bit scary, just because like every time we would watch it, we started like bawling and getting super emotional. So it's literally taken us almost a month just to be able to talk about what has happened. And not only like, you know, ever since Ella's been here, it's also just been scary. It's like highs and lows, you know, like you love something like so much that like you're just constantly scared, you know, like
you're the protector. And it's been crazy. So for those of you who watched our video, as you guys know, we went in for a routine doctor's appointment. It was on April 29th. Does April have 30 or 31 days?
30. Okay,
so it was on April 29th or 28th, I can't even remember. We just went in for a doctor's appointment. Our original due date was on May 10th. And I really thought like I would give labor at the end of April. Since I was pregnant, I was like, I feel like Ella's gonna be here at the end of April. Like I kept saying that. And so we went into for a routine doctor's appointment, and we're gonna kind of make this short since we do have a video. If you guys haven't watched it, make sure to go watch it right now. But we went in for a regular doctor's appointment, and as I was getting all my labs done, my doctor came in. By the way, shout out to Dr. Martinez. We absolutely love her. She is beyond amazing. So she was just like, you're not gonna like this. And I was just like, my heart started beating and I got really scared. And she's like, but I'm gonna send you over to labor and delivery because your labs are coming back abnormal, and you have what's called preeclampsia, but I want you to get more tests. And I was like, huh? Like I couldn't even pronounce preeclampsia at the time. I was just like so scared. And Dhar wasn't allowed at any of the last doctor's appointments because of COVID-19. So I was in there by myself, and then like, you know, he always text messages me to check up on me, and he was just like, is everything okay? And I was like, no. And I was trying to hold it together, and I get to the car and I was just like, I gotta be strong. Like I might give birth right now, you know, and I have to be strong for Ella. So he had to take me over to labor and delivery. They did more tests. I was there for 4 hours, and Dhar waited patiently in the car outside of the hospital. I felt so bad. Like, I wanted him there with me. How did you feel, like, waiting and just like...
Yeah, so I talked about it in that vlog, but I mean, it was just a terrifying feeling. It's both exciting and terrifying. It's hard to really describe, you know. It's exciting because you know that you're getting so close to your baby coming, but it's terrifying because you think about all these things that could possibly go wrong. But for our Cuyutees who've been subscribed to our channel for a while, you guys always know that I'm like Mr. Optimist. I'm always just praying for the best, hoping for the best. So I was definitely trying to be in good spirits, and how I see it is like, I am the source of strength for Laura. Like, I know she's stressed, so I gotta be strong. So for the most part, I was being as positive as I can, at least externally.
And while I was going over edits for our YouTube video, it was my first time seeing Dhar actually talk and, you know, get to see what he was going through. And it honestly broke my heart. Like, I could just see like the emotion in your eyes and your voice, and seeing you sit in the car, like, that was really hard for me to watch, and I had to keep like stopping because I was getting so emotional. I just felt so bad that you were in the car.
It really kills me inside, but you know, just because of the quarantine situation, they're not letting anybody come into the hospital, you know, which really kills me inside, just knowing I can't be there, and just thinking that, you know, she's gonna be scared, and you know, I can't be talking to her and making her feel better and calming her down. All I can pray for, and all that matters, is healthy baby, healthy Laura. The story gets a lot more emotional as it goes on, so save your tears.
Yeah, so we were there for 4 hours, and my test still kept coming back really abnormal, but they said I had like on the lower end of preeclampsia, so they're like, we're gonna send you home and have you come back in 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, they gave me like these 2 big gallons, and they were like, you need to collect your urine every time you go pee, you know, fill these gallons up. And then they gave me a blood pressure, and I had to take my blood pressure every 3 hours, unless it got to a point where it was too high. Then they told me to come in right away. So we go home, we get home that night around like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And then we went to sleep, and then that next day at 6 a.m., almost to the dot, I started feeling pain, and I was just like, what the heck is going on? Like, I didn't know if it was nerves, if I was just anxious, but I started feeling pain, and I was just like, Dhar, I think like I started contracting today. And so my contractions started, and then once I started timing it, I realized that it was going on consistently every 10 to 12 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm contracting. And we had watched labor and delivery videos, so we knew that I wasn't gonna fully start to go into labor until my contractions were 5 minutes apart. So I didn't really freak out, and they weren't as painful. But as the day went on, you guys, it was consistent to a T. There was not 1 hour that I had a break with no contraction. They just started getting more intense. They started coming more faster. So by the time I hit 24 hours, we went back to the doctor, and I was dilated at 4 this time, but my contractions at 4, you guys, were so tough. So they were like, because of like this whole COVID-19, the hospitals, they try to keep as empty as possible. That's why only 1 person is allowed with you. And so they were like, we can admit you now, but we aren't able to give you the epidural until you get closer. So, you know, I would just spend the time in the hospital, and Dhar wouldn't be able to be in there yet. Or I could go home, they can give me morphine, a lower dosage of morphine, but it's to help with the pain. They just can't give you a lot of morphine or like a higher dose, because they need you to still feel the contraction so you can time them out. So I decided to get morphine and go home and rest for a couple hours and monitor my contractions until they were 5 minutes apart. So we got morphine, we went home. I was able to sleep for, I think, 3 hours.
Like the first 3 hours that she had literally slept in, like, I don't know, might have been weeks, for sure days, but weeks.
And I'm not one to ever take medication. I don't take aspirin, I don't take medication. So that morphine hit me, you guys, and I didn't realize how bad until I watched our vlog, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was
you made me want
drowsy.
Morphine's kicking in. Okay, whatever you want, baby, I'm gonna get you. You just name it, and I'm gonna have it for you. I'll have 3 for you. Alright.
Then the contractions started getting super intense. I don't know if the morphine wore off or the contractions just started getting higher or both, but then I was in so much pain. I'm just like, we gotta go. I watched so many labor and delivery vlogs before this, and I knew they were painful, but I didn't ever expect them to be as painful as they were for me. I was done, you guys. I was so scared. And obviously everybody's labor and contractions are different. So just because that was my experience, don't get scared if you are expecting. So we went to the hospital, and it was even hard for me to go in, and it sucked because I had to go in by myself.
I'm gonna ask for a wheelchair?
No, I can.
Okay.
I love you.
Okay, I love you so much. I'll be praying for you this whole time, okay?
And as I was walking, everyone was looking at me, and the security guard was just like, we're not gonna let you go by yourself. Like, they thought I was gonna faint, and so they were like, let me get you in a wheelchair. But when you have contractions and you're sitting, they're actually sharper. Like, it's easier if you're walking around. So I was just like, no, just let me walk, I got this. And they were like, well, we're gonna escort you. So I actually had 2 security guards escort me to labor and delivery. Escort me to labor and delivery because they literally thought I was gonna pass out. So once I got up there, then they were able to admit me. They checked for to make sure we didn't have COVID, which, oh my gosh, if you guys ever got tested, they stick a swab down your throat and then they stick it in your nose, which is so uncomfortable. But once they put me in a room, Dhar was allowed to come in. And that was like the best feeling ever.
I just got a text message saying that she's been admitted. So I'm so excited, and even better news, she said they're gonna let me in. So everything's looking good. Oh, I am so excited. I could be like hours away from holding my baby girl, and I'm gonna be there to support Laura.
And then once he got up there, they gave me the epidural, and that is actually just as painful as the contractions. And I feel like I'm really not trying to scare you guys. This is just our experience, my experience. And like I said, everyone is different, but it was honestly so painful, you guys. And I just did not, the nurse who was giving me the epidural, like, we just were not on the same page. She was just like, move forward, move backwards. We edited some of that part out because we just wanted to get to the point and I didn't want to scare you guys. But like, she poked me the first time and couldn't find the right spot. And then she's just like, you need to come back more. And I was like, I am coming back more. Like, and I was having contractions while I was having the epidural. I was just a hot mess.
But I was trying to be peacemaker just to make sure everything was fine.
Shoulders and really push out, okay? From the bottom. Drop these.
Just think you're not gonna have pain after
big
this.
Breath in and out.
You're almost there,
Really
baby.
nice big breath. Just trying to find a space that's open.
You're doing great, sweetheart. Just hang in there. You're okay.
Don't move, we're done. Okay, hold up. Alright,
Just about there.
wasn't too bad, right?
When they said you're only allowed to have one person in, because originally the plan was to have Dhar and my mom, and of course I wanted my sister to be there, but because her and I were 11 days apart, I didn't want her to see my labor and then go into labor too, because her doctor's in San Diego. So it's gonna be my mom and Dhar, and then they said only one person. So it was Dhar, and I'm glad that Dhar was there because
I'm pretty motivational.
Well, yeah, but just like hearing his voice, like I always feel secure and protected. Like I just knew like, okay, he's here with me. I'm gonna be able to get through this.
I love you so much.
I love you
Thank
too.
you, God, for all of the blessings that you've given us. You've seriously blessed us with more than we even deserve, more than we could ever ask for. We're so thankful for all of your blessings. Please, God, protect Laura during this time.
I'm so thankful that he was in the room because I even told him like I couldn't hear anybody else but his voice. Okay, just listen to him, just pay attention to him, like he's guiding me, you know, to the right path or whatever. So yeah, I'm really thankful that you were in there with me, and he definitely made it a lot easier on me because I was so scared, I was so anxious, I was just so many things. But once we got to, well, do you want to explain how you felt during this whole time, like seeing me get the epidural and go through contractions? And
yeah, for sure. You know, I think from like a guy's perspective, you just don't spend a lot of time thinking about labor and delivery, you know, like girls are so good about this. They'll research everything.
Yeah.
They'll watch YouTube videos. Like Laura literally had every single thing planned at the house for Ella's
so
arrival.
prepared.
And guys are just kind of oblivious, you know. I'm probably a little bit more prepared than most, but I still had no idea what to expect, and it was at the point where I didn't know it was humanly possible to endure as much as Laura was going through, like from how little sleep she had, from how much pain she was in, to her having to deal with so much alone because I couldn't be there, to there was lots of just ups and downs like during the pregnancy, you know, some of which if you guys, you know, follow along in our channel, you guys know that we've just had it's been a scary, it was a scary journey. And then it's like this grand finale. Our little cutie's listening. We'll show you her as soon as we're done telling the story. But for me, like as soon as we were in the room and we got admitted and I was there, I was like, okay, great. Like at least, you know, at least we've made it this far. But you know, the kinds of questions that they ask you, like when you're filling out a survey, you know, all these scary things that are terrifying.
Keep talking.
Yeah, okay. Ella's listening. She's learning how to become a YouTuber. So you guys will definitely be seeing a lot more of Ella in our vlogs. I know that's probably why you're really here. But yeah, so it was definitely, is she gonna make an appearance?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, cool. So as soon as we got in and Laura got the epidural, immediately she was like in a better place and she was relaxed and she was joking around. And in my head, I was like, this is freaking awesome. You know, this is how it's gonna be. It's gonna be a smooth labor and delivery from this point forward. But the labor lasted so long. How many hours was it total?
I think a little above 60.
Over 60 hours. When she started contracting. I mean, the active labor was shorter, but it was still a very, very long time.
Yeah, the first night, once I had the epidural, it definitely made my contractions like from a 100 down to like a 20 at first. But I wasn't dilated much. I was still at 4 this entire time, and my water didn't break. And so since once I got the epidural, the contractions actually started to slow down. So they decided to break my water for me. So they broke my water, and then once they broke my water, then my contractions started coming faster.
Yeah.
I started to dilate more. And I feel like once I got to 8, once I was fully dilated to 8, then I feel like no matter if I press the epidural, like it was just painful. Like I think my body just got so used to it, or it wore off, or I took it too soon. I'm not really sure, but it began to get painful again, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I cannot do this. And like I've watched so many labor and delivery videos, and I don't feel like the reason we decided to be like so real and raw was because we wanted you guys to experience like it with us, and because I don't feel like there's a lot of videos out there that really give you the full story. Like a lot of the times it's like, you know, they go in and then you see them pushing like 1 or 2 times and then the baby's there. And so I literally thought that in my head. I was just like, oh, like I'm probably gonna push her out in 3 pushes. Like in my mind I thought that was like gonna be my labor.
Probably 300 pushes.
So you get in there, and you know you have to get your epidural shots. Then they strap all these things to you. You have to get a catheter in you, and then you start to swell from getting all these liquids. Like I couldn't believe how much I was swelling. And once I got the epidural, it also caused me to have like the shivers. And so there was one point I couldn't even talk because like my teeth were like shivering so much. My body was like shaking. But just like all these things I never expected. Like I didn't see it in anyone's video, so I just didn't know about any of this stuff. But it was all like very scary, and just like, you know, I was trying to be as calm as possible, because I'm like, I know if I'm calm, like the process will be a lot easier. But once I dilated to 8 and started feeling pain, I was just like, oh my gosh, like. And honestly, you guys, I was pushing the hardest that I absolutely could. When I was watching the video, I was like, it doesn't even look like I was pushing that hard, but
yeah, it does.
It does.
Everyone was pushing with you.
I don't feel like when I watched it, I was like, it doesn't even look like I was pushing that hard, but I was literally giving it like my entire soul and energy and just everything.
And no sleep, no food.
Yeah.
Like you were totally drained. You got this, baby. Come on, baby, you got this, 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 come on, baby. Go, 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 go. Nice. Okay. That was really good, baby. That was so good.
I was so drained. We had some really good nurses and doctors.
Amazing. We sent them like a really nice thank you basket.
They were just so amazing.
Yeah.
But so, you know, we were pushing, and then Dhar decided that he was gonna FaceTime my mom and my sister.
Well, so let's take it back just a little bit, because that was like right before the baby came out. So I would say like the actual pushing and trying to get the baby out lasted for
almost 3 hours.
Yeah, it was like hours, and it was just non-stop pushing. And I'm sure maybe this is just like every woman knows this, but I didn't know this. So every time a contraction would come, that's when you're supposed to push. Is that just so obvious? So a contraction was coming like every 2 minutes. And so Laura would have to push as hard as she could for like 10 seconds. And then she'd get like a 2-3 second break. And she had to do that 3 times in a row and then wait for the next contraction. So doing that straight for 3+ hours.
It's so exhausting. Yeah. Like I felt so dehydrated. In between, Dhar would give me water.
Yeah.
And then they would also put the breathing machine on me, because I was having trouble breathing, because I honestly just had no energy. Like pushing for 3 hours was so exhausting, and having contractions for over 60 hours. I was just like, I'm never gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Like, why did I decide to do this?
So a point in time came where Ella was so low where you could see the top of her head, but I guess she had to go underneath the pelvic bone in order to be pushed out. But she was stuck there for a long period of time. And Laura was pushing as hard as she could. And at that time, it was primarily one nurse that was with us. As Laura's like pushing as hard as she can, like so much time is going by that the nurse started getting a little bit concerned as to how Ella was like stuck so low. And doctors were kind of coming in periodically, and they were kind of having like private conversations. Like they weren't trying to be secretive, but you know, they had to talk about what was happening. And
because Ella was so low, I couldn't have a C-section at that point, because she was almost out, but I just couldn't get her out by pushing her.
So it got a little concerning, and then the mood kind of started to change. You know, it wasn't like, hey, like, yeah, come on, you can do this, Like it was like, you've got to get her out, you know, like it became a sense of urgency. And at that point, yeah, my heart's like already kind of racing right now.
I think in the video too, like I
yeah.
tell Dhar, I'm like, just pray. And then Dhar starts praying, and like all these things are going through my mind, and I'm trying to focus on pushing. But when you see, like, there was one point, I think it's even in the video, where so many people came in, and I got so anxious. I was just like, what's wrong? Like something's wrong. There's so many people here. Why is there so many people in here?
Okay,
We're all here just to support you.
We're all here.
You're doing awesome. I know. It's okay. Relax.
You're doing so good.
And I was like looking at Dhar, and Dhar was still like trying to be calm. You know, he was praying, and
it wasn't. It didn't feel normal, you know, because they had sort of prepared us as to what was going to happen. We thought maybe there was going to be 2 or 3 people, but it got to a point of like this strong sense of urgency where the doctors were like, the baby's got to come out. The baby's got to come out. And it's like Laura's trying as hard as she possibly can. There is no plan B at that point, you know, like a C-section is not an option at that point. And Laura was also just so physically exhausted that she felt like she couldn't push anymore. But the doctors are telling her that she had to. So it was just so scary. And then out of nowhere, like 12 people or something just rush in the room all at once, you know, and it's like they're carrying like this little ICU unit that nobody had told us was going to happen. You know, they're looking at the baby's heart rate. They started stressing out about like the heart rate a little bit and about the breathing. So everything got super intense, and super fast.
I like just the look on everyone's faces, like we knew something was wrong.
Right.
And I kept saying like, is something wrong? What's going on? But no one would really say anything. They were just like, let's focus on pushing. Come on, you can do it. And so imagine like having that worry and then also being so exhausted and then trying to like push. It was just like, oh my gosh, I honestly thought like something was gonna happen to me. But I don't know, I don't even remember the last push. Like I honestly think I blacked out because I don't remember Ella coming out at all. But I just hear everyone say she's out, and then you know they prep you, they tell you like, oh, we're gonna put her on your chest so she can get skin to skin time, and that moment didn't happen. Like I know on our labor and delivery video it seems like it did happen, but that was a while after.
That was just how I cut it. But how it worked is, as soon as Ella had come out, Laura had this emotional moment. Like, you know, we FaceTimed with her mom, her sister.
Okay, you got your mom and your sister now. Okay, they're both with you. Everyone's praying for you. Your mom, your sister, God is with you right now. This could be the final push.
So after Ella came out, we were expecting that Ella would be put on Laura's chest and there was going to be this skin-to-skin contact. And there was definitely a moment or two where Laura and I were just excited. We were, you know, just thanking God and everything. We were happy, like, oh my God, like, you know, she's here. It's sort of the hard part is all over. And the next thing we know is we're hearing these sirens just beep, beep.
And it's like a red light is flashing.
Yeah. A red light is flashing and we're looking over like, okay, what is going on?
Dhar cut the cameras.
Yeah.
And I'm like on the bed getting stitched, so I can't move and I don't see Ella, and I'm just like, Dhar, what's going on? Dhar, what's going on? And Dhar turned so pale white, like the doctors made him sit down because they thought he was gonna faint. Because we both got so scared at that time. Like it was just like, you know, a siren, and it just kept going, and it was like emergency, emergency,
and
emergency.
We looked over and you could tell that the nurses and the doctors were stressed out. And so we kept asking like, what's going on? You know, is she okay? Is she okay? Please just tell us that our baby's okay. And they weren't saying much. And I think they were also scared. And in my mind, all I could think about is, would they even tell us if something's wrong? Like, you know, they're probably worried about protecting Laura's health. And so maybe they just don't tell you in these kinds of situations. So in my head, I started getting all these thoughts like, what if she's not okay. And then that was definitely, like, out of my whole life, out of all the years that I've known Laura, I had never seen her so worried, so scared, so emotional. And all she could do is, like, she was just saying over and over, like, is our baby okay? Is our baby okay? And nobody was giving us any answers.
Yeah, I started bawling, and we heard, like, the doctor say, like, we need oxygen, she's not breathing. And so our mind just started thinking all these things. And at one point, like, I was praying, and I was just like, I was praying, and I was like, please God, like, if you're gonna take someone, take me, don't take her. And we just, like, that alarm, like, it still haunts us today because it was so loud, and it just kept going off and going off, and it seemed like it was going off forever, like. And, you know, they were just like, we need oxygen, we need oxygen. And I remember at one point I looked over, and there was like 7 or 8 people all around, and I saw, you know, they were giving her like chest compressions. And I was just like looking at Dhar, and I was just like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, literally no one was telling us what's going on. They were just like, you know, trying to calm me down, and they were just like, you know, she's gonna be okay. Like, I don't even remember what they were saying.
Yeah.
It was just like,
you can't, words don't change anything, you know? Like, if you just have that fear, like, your baby is not breathing, you're hearing sirens, sorry, I gotta watch her, but, and it didn't end there.
the sirens were going off, the lights were going off, we just hear like, emergency, emergency, and then all of a sudden, they're calling, the main doctor is calling for another doctor, and they were like, we need you in here now. And we were just like really freaking out. Like, I just can't even tell the story. My mind's getting all, it's still traumatizing, you know, like it's just, I don't know, I can't even explain it, you guys. It's one of those feelings that words just can't explain it. But after a long time, then we finally got that chest to chest moment, and I just remember like my entire life changed.
Who gets to say it's too soft to be falling?
Oh, look at her little arm, she's stuck out. Oh, I love her so much. Oh, hi, Ella, can you say hi? She's so little, you guys. She looks like her daddy.
It won't work.
I love you so much.
And I know like a lot of moms, they're just like, oh, you know, wait till you see your baby, like you're gonna forget about all the pain and everything. And I had really tough pain, so I was like, yeah, right. But it's so true. Like, the moment you get to hold your baby and you see your baby, you just forget about everything. You forget about the pain, you forget about the long contractions and labor and stuff like that. Oh, hi, baby.
Somebody wants to say hello.
Say hi, Ella.
Hi, Ella.
She's hungry right now. Oh, you're hungry.
Oh,
yeah,
baby.
you're looking for the boo. So this is Ella. She was born with a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And you guys, no matter what we do, let me show you. Oh, her little headband's coming off. No matter what we do, her hair, we wash it, we brush it. Uh-oh, she wants the boo. We wash it, we brush it. It's still just, it's spiky.
Yeah,
But
she can sense when it's Laura versus me, because when Laura's holding her, she'll just jump for the boob. For me,
say hi, Mama.
Hi, baby.
Say hi.
Hi, cutie. You gave us the biggest scare of our lives, you little cutie pie.
So she was born on May 1st at just about 3 p.m. And she was, at birth, she was 6 pounds, 4 ounces and 19.25 inches. And then the first week, she just had like some problems eating and with her breathing and things like that. So she ended up losing weight, and she was 5.5. Is it 5 point?
Yeah, she got
5 so she was so tiny, you guys. Nothing fit her. Oh, nothing fit her. And oh, it's okay. And Dhar and I are first time parents, so when we got to bring her home on the 4th day, we were in the hospital for 4 days, and we came home on the 4th day, and then I'm so glad that we had those 4 days in the hospital because the doctors and nurses really took care of her, and like she was still having a hard time breathing. But she's all better now.
I know.
But once we brought her home, then we were like,
my gosh.
we had so many scares ourselves
I know.
being new parents because everything we're like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Is she breathing? Is this normal? Da, 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 da.
When I'm on daddy duty, I pretty much keep my finger under her nose the entire time just to make sure she's breathing. Because I think it's just it's a lot because we're new parents, but also just because the traumatic birth story that we had.
She's so hungry. It's like a bad mom.
We gotta feed this girl. I mean, yeah, it was a crazy story. So many emotions, so many ups or downs, but we definitely wouldn't change anything for the world. I mean, I asked Laura, like, we'd go through it all again in a heartbeat. You know,
literally the love of our life. So everyone thinks she looks like me, but she has Dhar's hair, Dhar's dimples, which I'm so excited for. She has 2 little dimples. When she's not hungry, she smiles.
She hasn't been crying all day. She's been so good.
I know, of course. Oh, she's sucking on her finger. She's so hungry. And she's also really lengthy now. Like she has Dhar's height, Dhar's dimples, Dhar's skin coloring, Dhar's hair. Oh my gosh, this little girl gives Dhar competition. Like, oh my goodness. You're a lady, Ella.
You guys are gonna see a lot more of Ella in our vlogs. We're sorry that it took us a little bit long to do this video and tell you guys.
Like all the love and support. I think 2 days after we were still in the hospital and Dhar posted like, thank you guys. Ella's here and gave you guys an update, like just asking for prayers, and the amount of love and support and messages we got, we felt it, you guys, while we were at the hospital, like, and it actually cheered us up a little reading your messages and hearing your stories and things like that. So thank you guys so much. Like, we honestly love you guys, and you guys helped us get through it because it was really scary.
And prayers really do work, you guys.
Absolutely.
Like, this whole experience definitely made us realize that. But get used to seeing this little Coyote in a lot of our vlogs. We promise we're gonna be vlogging with Ella a lot more.
She's just our entire world. Oh my god.
We love you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.